was when you were 10 years old. Personally, I loved recess because that meant I could run and jump and release all my pent-up energy. Yet, there are kids today that do not get to experience the typical day of a 10-year-old due to adolescent idiopathic scoliosis, also known as AIS. As a biomedical engineer, I'm interested in AIS because I want to join a field that works to make sure people are not held back by the restrictions of their bodies. Biomedical engineering has many aspects, a prime example of which is creating medical devices to help improve people's quality of life. Today, I want to share with you what adolescent idiopathic scoliosis is, the current treatment options available, and as Hannah alluded to, the emerging technology that is due to the biomedical engineering field. As I mentioned previously, every year several adolescents are told they're deemed at risk to participate in certain activities because of AIS. In the graduate thesis, Biomechanical Assessment of Adolescent Idiopathic Scoliosis Deformity and Treatment, written by Dr. Sarah Galvis in 2016, AIS is defined as the C or S-shaped curvature of a person's spine that occurs during adolescence. This age of adolescence is considered to be between 10 and 17 years old. The research company BioSpectrum published an article in 2019 called FDA Approves Novel Device for Idiopathic Scoliosis. It found that approximately 6,800 kids each year in the United States alone experience cases of AIS so extreme they require surgery. To put this number in perspective, that's greater than the number of both graduate and undergraduate students enrolled in the engineering department at Cal Poly, which is the largest department on campus. To truly understand the severity of the cases that require surgery, we must first understand the medical jargon. The research publication, Cobb Angle Measurement of Spine from X-ray Images Using a Convolutional Neural Network, written in 2019 by Dr. Horn, gives us a definition of a Cobb angle. It's the angle between the upper and lower tangents of the two end plates. So that's the upper tangent, that's the lower tangent, and then this angle of intersection is what's known as the Cobb angle. Now that we know what the Cobb angle is, we can determine how severe a case is. Less than 25 degrees is considered to be mild. Moderate is between 25 and 45 degrees. And a severe case is a Cobb angle of 45 degrees or more. Now that we know how their cases are classified, we can delve into how to treat them. The Material Science and Engineering Collection in 2016 found that worldwide, the number of kids that needed any sort of treatment for AIS was approximately 600,000. Compared to that 68 number I threw out earlier about how many kids in the U.S. each year need surgical treatment, we can see that the numbers show it's much less common to have to resort to surgical treatment. Respectively, the medical textbook called Research into Spinal Deformities in 2010 by Dr. M. Driscoll highlights the available therapies. If you have a moderate case, you'll often be given a brace like the one on the left and told, wear this for 23 hours a day, which sucks because it's extremely restrictive and hard to follow that protocol. In the unfortunate case that the curvature does not respond to the bracing, which often happens, or you have an angle of 45 degrees or more, the patient is in definite need of surgery. The article, Long-Term Outcome of Posterior Spinal Fusion for the Correction of AIS, retrieved from the Scoliosis Journal and written in 2018 by Dr. Gundari, explains the surgical options available and their impact on patients. As can be seen here, that x-ray before you definitely need surgery. And the surgery that's available is called spinal fusion, in which bone screws and metal rods are placed into the back, and you definitely get a straighter spine, but that looks incredibly uncomfortable. In a separate article from the Scoliosis Journal, also written in 2018, but by Dr. Secchi, he's quoted saying, posterior spinal fusion for AIS is considered to be the most invasive surgical procedure performed in children and adolescents. End quote. This is due to the fact that there's a recovery time of between 6 and 12 months, and the way in which you have to enter the body is incredibly invasive. Obviously, a new modality is needed, which is where biomedical engineers come in. In 2019, the Center for Devices and Radiological Health published an article called the Tether Vertebral Body Tethering System. It described an FDA approval for the newest modality in AIS treatment. It consisted of bone screws, staples, setting screws, and a polymer tether. During the surgery, the surgeon places the bone screws in the kid's spine, and since the patient is young and they're still growing, the way this is different than spinal fusion is the tension that's put on the polymer tether. As the kid grows, it's pulled into place. As you can see here, there's no longer screws and rods in the back. It's just the bone screws with a polymer between them. So even though this looks similar to the spinal fusion surgery, it's in fact very different because the recovery time is at a minimum of 4 weeks compared to a minimum of 6 months. There are still concerns, however, just due to how they have to enter the body. Surgeons are worried about lung collapse, but this is still considered to be less invasive than that of spinal fusion surgery. By now, I hope you have a pretty good understanding of what AIS is and the surgical treatment options available. I thought it was important to share with you this technology because scoliosis is so prevalent in the world, and we can see how a major at Cal Poly is actively affecting the world. Even though this new therapy has flaws, it's exciting to know that the advancements that are being made are helping the world and people's well-being.